Okay, 7 o'clock, we're going to call the meeting to order with a pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With absence, approval of the agenda.
Move that we approve the agenda.
Moved and supported. Any additions, deletions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
There's the same. Motion carried. Any comments? We'll move on to call to the public. Yes.
Question on the county roads that they were upgrading, Gregory and what was the other one, Coon Lake, I think. Do they come to you and say, here's what we're doing, or do they just say, we're fixing the road and this is how much it's gonna cost?
Basically, I talk with them. Sometimes I suggest areas. Usually they know the roads better and they'll come and say, hey, you know, what's your budget for working on roads? Here's the areas that we think we should attack this year. And then we just work from there back and forth. So it's primarily them coming to us and suggesting where they think needs the most.
Well, the reason I ask is because I know it was a lot of money to do the sections. And when you pay a lot of money, then you think it should be up to the standards of the person that's paying the money. You know, I mean, they brought in, whatever, 3,000 tons of gravel and cut some trees down and rutted the side of the roads and threw grass seed down. So, I mean, is it up to the county's or the township standards of what they had to pay to have done what was done? Is what I'm
We
getting
can
at.
question them as to what they're doing and how much it costs, but no. As far as the cost and materials and all that kind of stuff, that is the road commission. We do not control it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, the people pay, and you would think it would be done professionally, no matter if somebody was landscaping your yard, and say they landscaped your yard, and they rutted it up and threw grass seed down and said, calling it good, and then moved on to the next. That's just what it seemed like to me, you know, but I don't know how it's presented to the township, or if they're just saying, yeah, we're fixing this road, and you're paying it, you know, that's what I'm just getting at. So,
They don't do anything without us agreeing to them doing it.
okay,
I mean, we could say no.
yeah.
We're not gonna fix that road.
Okay.
You're speaking to the quality of the work though, right?
The quality of the work was not what the dollar amount,
What do you think it should have been?
yeah. So, I just want to bring it to your attention. I don't know how it works between the two, so,
Yeah.
I like that.
They are in control.
Okay.
No.
We'll have somebody drive down the road and take a look, somebody in that field. And
Okay.
see.
Honestly, I've had a lot of people tell me how much Coon Lake is, how much they like it.
I haven't been down Coon Lake, I'm referring to Gregory.
Okay,
So-
I haven't been down Gregory,
Yeah.
but Coon Lake, I've heard, I mean, other than before they put the gravel and
Yeah.
back pit and all that, when it was a muddy.
Yeah, I just thought they were gonna ditch it and stuff, but, you know.
I think a lot of the problems
Some
in
ditches
ditches
you can't ditch.
were right because of all the new fiber optic lines and a lot of these roads, I mean, were built before the phone lines were run down and some of the natural gas, so to ditch it like to a quality standard, it'd be hundreds of thousands more dollars to cut the right trees out of the way to get the right width. Some of the ruts, I mean, every situation is different. I mean, I can't speak for it because I wasn't on the project.
Right, no. I just didn't know how it worked.
Yep.
If you're paying somebody to do the job,
It's
I
not just
get it.
fiber. I mean, a lot of the places you can't really ditch like to because
yeah,
they're
the
too low.
banks are way too high.
There's not, you're not,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of
Okay.
the roads kind of go through swamps and ditching really doesn't do many.
Well, where the swamps are, it's good because all the water runs right off to them, so. But, okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Do you have any sort of a report
is there any way we could get like the treasurer's report, even if you have one copy out at the table? We could take a picture of it, and then we could follow along when that treasurer report is going through. And then, number 3, if we're voting on a trigger ordinance, is there a copy of the trigger ordinance available where it could be, again, just one copy out there at the table, and we take a picture of it, so we know what it's being voted on? Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for Aaron, because what do you think that they meant when they said that something funny is going on about how this thing was run? Through the board, through everything, through DTE, how they were jumping through. It wasn't really in line with how things are done. And he said something's funny. Sounds like something's funny's going on. What do you think he meant there?
I don't recall that. Who exactly are you talking about, you know?
Well, one of the members yesterday, when we were at the Livingston County Board, said, it sounds to me like something's funny's going on. And I just,
It was the one that sat all the way on the right. He
Yeah.
was talking about running it through
Yeah, it was.
right.
both things to match the ordinance versus
Right.
putting it in one
What
at
do
a
you-
time.
what
But that
do
was
you
just
mean
his
by
opinion,
that?
I don't know.
You don't recall?
I'd have to go back to my notes.
It was strange. That they're trying to pass two things at one time, and that would be a poor precedence to set for everyone else in the whole state. You don't recall that either? Do you recall it?
It was just his opinion, and I think he was
Right.
just kind of thinking out loud. I don't know what he meant by it, and I don't
Well,
think.
that was another member that said that.
That you change your ordinance to make way for them.
Yeah, how they did the ordinance. Something that wasn't supposed to happen, or it was peculiar.
You're probably gonna have to call and ask him or her.
Yeah, it wasn't in the overlay district. That it set a strange precedence.
I wish you would have been there. So it was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted clarification, that's all.
Yeah, I think you're at the wrong board for it. So, anybody else? All right, with that, we'll close the first call to the public, and we'll move on to adoption of the regular minutes from our 2/19 meeting.
Make a motion to adopt June's minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
I was like, don't be waiting on me, folks, I wasn't
I
there.
know.
We're good. All right, moved and supported. Any corrections?
Can't believe you had such a short meeting without me, but I guess that's a good one to miss.
All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. On to the clerk's report.
During June, we had 32 hours of dedicated service from the Livingston County Sheriff's Department that included 28 self-initiated calls for service, 2 dispatch calls for service, 14 traffic stops, which resulted in 3 citations being completed. The dates were Monday, June 2nd from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 3 subdivision patrols, 1 patrol area check, 1 building check, 1 traffic stop, and 1 repossession call. On Friday, June 13th from 2 to 10, 7 subdivision patrols, 7 traffic stops, and 1 citation. On Tuesday, June 17th from 8 to 4, 3 subdivision patrols, 4 building checks, 1 traffic stop, and 1 assist law enforcement. And then Friday, June 27th from 10 to 6, 3 building checks, 3 subdivision patrols, 5 traffic stops, 3 patrol area checks, and 2 citations. The only only other thing I have is the AEDs are here. There's one in here. We have another sticker. I don't know why it hasn't got put up, but it will get put up where the AED is, says AED, but we have an actual AED sticker. And then the other one is in the office area, but during elections, the one out of the office area will go to precinct 2. But we have them, and so I'm excited about that. And then are you gonna touch on we went through the beginning of the audit.
You're gonna touch
That's all
on
I have.
that?
Yeah, sure, I can touch on that.
Because you're next.
I can, yeah. So we met with our new auditors on Wednesday and Thursday of last week, and went through everything, and then they are continuing to collect some more things from us, and we'll have a report, I assume, he didn't really say, but I assume in a month or two, we'll have our audit report. I am very happy with our new auditors. They were incredibly helpful with our transition to QuickBooks Online, and just how to organize it in there so it'll, make things clear and where we're at and what's going on. So yeah, no, incredibly helpful. Very glad we switched. So for, I guess, the rest of the treasurer's report, just rolling into that. So in front of you, our 2 CDRs are maturing this month. The bank contacted me. We can still do close to 4% for another 13 weeks. So since we do not need that money right this minute, or not in the next 13 weeks, we're going to roll with it again so we can keep getting that 4% for another 13 weeks. Other than that, nothing too exciting to report from that arena. Any questions? Fantastic.
Thank you. All right, and we pay the bills.
I will make a motion that we pay $47,671.20 in township bills.
Second. Moved and supported. Pay the bills, 47,671.2. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Haley, aye. Miller. Parker.
Aye.
Harmon.
Aye.
Bono.
Aye.
Motion carries. Committee reports. Jason's not here, did he?
I did speak with him. There's been no updates this month. They have not received the updates to the contract. I have not received a rec bill. I thought we would receive the yearly rec bill by now, but we have not.
Okay. And Amanda, fire board.
Since our last meeting, there's been 2 building fires, 9 medical calls, 1 motor vehicle accident with no injuries, quite a few trees down, looks like 3 of them, 1 carbon monoxide incident, 2 electrical wiring problems, and 2 dispatched canceled en route. At the fire board meeting, we approved the budget, which our fiscal year runs from July 1st to the end of June. They did do 5% raises across the board. And starting July 1st, we now have a Saturday, Sunday day shift from 8 to 5. So before it was just voluntary and nobody was, so now we have a dedicated, you're working the weekend, you're working the weekend. Our July meeting was canceled due to a lack of agenda.
Did they do that because they were having trouble with volunteers being around on Saturday, or they just are getting more calls?
I think it's a combination, I would say. We're getting more calls than we've, every year we break the record. And it's a lot of medicals. I think this heat has not helped with a lot of medical calls, but that was not I think it just guarantees that you've got people that will be there. And if you're at the fire hall, call, you're gonna be there in a timely, super timely fashion. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, PC update.
All reviews and suggestions to the master plan have been submitted to the land planner. After some discussion, the PC board decided that there will be no August meeting. The next meeting will be held September 9th. There was also some concern from the public to get more input on the master plan. The Planning Commission wanted to check with the Township Board and see if they are in agreement with the Planning Commission's review of the master plan and the notices given, if they were good or not, or if they would like to entertain other avenues for public input other than PC notices and the Township Board meeting notices, along with the Fowlerville News and Views ads that we put in. I know there was something with Conway, had an online forum or survey for the residents for their master plan. They did think it wouldn't really alter with what we had going on. They just wanted to make sure and check with the Township Board and see if we wanted to entertain other avenues to get public input. And then on top of that, some discussion started on the Weller Road M1 property. And that's all I have for the PC report side.
What do people feel?
So the master plan's updated every 5 years still, and clearly you've already done
So
this.
reviewed at least every 5 years.
Review, right, you review it, and if everything is still status quo, then you go, yep, it's good, and, yeah.
Other than some corrections, some verbiage and language and other than that, but there hasn't been anything drastic, but that was just something they wanted to check with the Township Board and see if you guys were all right with the way that the review process went and the notifications given out.
You're gonna have a public hearing still.
Right.
I think the public was welcome to be there for all, and I know I put all the notices in that night. My understanding is they were not well attended, there were just a couple people that showed up for those meetings, so I think it is, those people are obviously more than welcome to voice any concerns, opinions they have with it once Mark has reviewed it and compiled it, and at the public hearing, I'm fine with that. I mean, if it were something big, I would hope somebody would reach out.
I mean, we're putting it all on the website, I'm assuming.
Once it's all compiled, it will be, I'm
Right.
sure, but it's still, everything, all that PC did is at Mark's, not is at land planner right now, being compiled and waiting for his review. He's working on the review.
No, I just mean, maybe our website just have a spot.
For the master
Have a
plan.
comment
Oh, like
area.
leave a comment
Yeah.
on the,
Right.
I don't.
could certainly look into that. I guess, you know, people don't have to save their master plan comments for when it can be said anytime and we can keep track of them.
I agree.
You know, I mean, that's what call the public is. If somebody has hey, I really want to see us buy more land for parks.
Right.
That can be said anytime. But I could certainly look into can we set up a comment area if it stays.
I mean, there's places
it's
for
polite.
anybody to
Yes,
email us
exactly.
too with any
Right,
comments.
it's not like in today, I mean, I don't know.
I think Candy's email's on there, plus all 5 of our emails are on there. If there are.
I agree, I'm just kind of throwing it out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I mean, there's plenty of ways, avenues to contact the board members, so,
And planning commission.
and planning commission.
Really, I mean, I don't know how long are we assigning chairs for? Like, how long is the current chair? 4
years. She
So
just, it was just renewed.
It's almost,
That's her last year.
is it
No,
last?
we just renewed it last month.
As the chair.
No, she's
Oh,
a member
the chair.
no matter what.
Oh,
Right.
4 years, okay,
Yeah.
she's chair for a
She's-
But
year.
the bylaws,
chair for
we
1 year.
rotate chairpersons every 3.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so master plan is always a planning
5
commission
years.
thing.
Yes.
Perhaps this is a duty of the chair to collect and maintain comments
Seems reasonable.
from the end of one master plan to the beginning of the next.
Seems reasonable. That email will go with whoever the chair is.
Right, so I would say we can put we have to put it on before the public hearing.
Yep.
And if you have any comments, you know, email the chair. If you have any future, what you'd like to see in the next one, email the chair, and that person needs to then keep that all together and bring it up at the next review.
Yeah. And they have the public hearing if there's still for this one,
Right.
so.
Because you get them thrown too many places and things will get lost.
Oh, for
So if we
sure.
can funnel it to the chair of planning commission, then that chair can just pass it to the next chair.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Yeah,
I have issued 26 permits for the year. Of those, 4 of them were for new dwellings. In addition to those 26 permits, I have issued 10 waivers. Current situation I'm working on right now is trying to get a hold of the Knights of the Road Motorcycle Club for their lack of permits for their events that they're advertising. So I've certified mail to them, and Julie and I went and posted 2 notices on their property today. And that's all I have.
okay.
How
Thank
are
you.
you gonna go to Tuesday, ladies night if you shut them down?
No free drinks for you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Just get a permit, that's all you need.
All right, unfinished business, MTA online subscriptions. As
I think this is like the third time.
this is the third time,
So
so
we're
it's
gonna,
like, we're gonna close this.
yes, because we have to pay this bill.
Right, so unless anyone has a need or feels that they're gonna have an extensive cost for training this year, then we'll just go with the standard that we did last year. I should say, that's my recommendation.
Just do the basic, and then as people wanna take stuff, pay for it.
Correct.
So this is just for the membership, these dues, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
And then these are for the online. I don't really see a need for the extra.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion that we do these, their regular annual dues that come to $4,254.60 for MTA.
I'll second.
Moved and supported. Please call the roll.
Bonville,
Aye.
Harmon,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Daily, aye.
Motion carries. Resolution, new business, resolution establishing the millage rate. The county contacted us, they noticed the discrepancy in our road millage. And at this point, we're working with them. There's gonna be more to follow, figure out what we're gonna, what's been done and what we're gonna do going forward.
What was the issue?
What's that?
What was the issue?
There seemed to be an issue with the rate that was published or intended to be published by the township and the rate that was published by the township. So we're figuring out how this is going to play out.
So we're tabling this resolution?
Yeah, I guess we're tabling it until we have more info from the county. Water treatment for the Township Hall. There's a...
I did not print the emails, I don't think.
Okay.
I forwarded the emails to everybody.
Okay, basically, we've got I quoted 3 people. Technically, I tried to get quotes from 4. Adam's well drilling, I want to say they were like right around $5,000, which would be a system that would be a water softener system plus arsenic iron tank system, because we are over the limits in the hall for arsenic recommended. limits. And of the other quotes, frankly, Brighton Howell, Soft Water didn't quote what we were asking to be quoted. They only quoted the water softener. The water softener quote was identical price-wise to Adams. So it's kind of like, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. Adams is in line with them on the water softener part of it. Titan quoted it. They did not quote arsenic, and their quote was crazy high compared to the other ones, like double. So to me, it's kind of like, I'm recommending we just go with Adams at this point. As they quoted what we asked. They came to the hall as requested, so they could actually look and see what we needed. They got the water test that we provided to them so that they knew what they were quoting, and they quoted appropriately. And the other ones, not so much.
So is this a replacement system or?
Yes.
American Aqua.
It's kind of odd. American Aqua was on a system for us where we just did a tank replacement. We didn't have a softener system, right? It was just, they would replace the tank. Well, apparently about 2 years ago, they just quit doing that.
They stopped offering the service, but didn't let us
They
know.
didn't tell us, and it's kind of like, if they were on our system, I guess you would say. They came in, they could use the key in the box and get into the hall and change the tank when it needed to do it. Well, we just never realized they quit doing it. So it's been like 2 years, and all of a sudden, you know, the urinals in the men's room would keep running, and you know,
Right, the
there's
rust
no
is,
water
the rust
pressure,
is
and
horrendous
it's
in
like,
the women's bathroom.
I went to the back to try to figure out what's going on with the well, and it's not the well. I just bypassed the softener system, which is completely plugged at this point, right? And the water pressure. So I went ahead and did a complete water test and started getting quotes. That's the background. So now we'll just have our own system that we'll just put salt in, and everyone else.
Do you know what amount? No more than? Do you ever know?
Oh, well, if you put no more than 6,000, it'll cover it, because I know it's just over 5,000.
I'll make a motion that we approve Adams Well Drilling a quote for no more than $6,000 for a water softener along with the iron and arsenic system for the Township Hall.
Moved and supported to authorize installation of a water softener with arsenic and iron from Adams Well Drilling, not to exceed 6,000. Any further discussion?
Who's gonna put the salt
Probably.
Joe is.
Unless you want to do it.
in? No. I'm joking, it's always an argument at our house.
So
Who's
we're
gonna
ready
do
for
salt?
it. We're gonna jump here and salt basically.
Yeah. Not a problem. All right, call the roll.
Daley, aye. Miller,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Harmon,
Aye.
Bonneville.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Township Ground Improvements. All right, this is related to putting up a privacy fence along our south boundary, and got that one quote in, right?
Yes, we have
And
one quote.
I-
Out of the 3 people I've contacted, I got one did a quote.
Right.
I think it's important that we let them know, like, that's requested by our neighbor. And so
Correct.
you guys
The
can
neighbor
approve it.
to the south has
Definitely has got a lot more activity.
expressed that with the pickleball court,
Right, the
and
walking path, the
walking path,
pickleball, the
it's just getting
pavilion right
more and
there,
more
yes.
noise, and, right, they would like us to do something about it, so.
All right, so and I had this thought after I got that quote, so this may be a little bit of an ongoing. Why do we have that berm there?
The idea was that was their intent originally, to try to cut down on noise.
Okay, because that fence, you know, if we put the fence on the property line, that, I mean, you could still stand on that berm, I think, and see
Yeah.
kind of over.
And that's why it's like, even with this quote, I'm almost thinking, if we decide we think we want to work with this company, because apparently nobody else in the world around here is interested in
Doing
putting up a
anything,
fence.
right.
I mean, it's like, I thought even putting it on the Facebook page, we'd see something, but I heard nothing.
Right.
So, but if we decide we want to work with them, I thought I would call them and see about seeing if there's sections like from maybe the house back, that we actually go with an 8-foot fence, so that it would, you know, block if somebody was standing on, we are allowed, we already looked.
Okay.
We
All
are,
right.
we are commercial and public.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We can put an 8-foot fence up. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I was just like,
Joe and I
okay.
already did the research.
All right,
Yes.
I should have known.
So, as a thought anyway, so, I mean, I don't know. Should I contact them and just have the quote massage, maybe get them out here and speak with them specifically, so that.
Well, I mean, I met him out here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Oh,
met
he
Chuck
did
out
come out.
here, yeah.
Okay.
He met me out here
Okay.
and looked it all over and,
Okay, well
yeah.
then, probably just be a phone call.
I mean, if we want to change part of the section to 8 foot, that's fine.
So why, whose fence is there?
Ours.
It's ours, and is it on the
It's on the
township's
property
property, or is it right on the property line?
I mean, there's a wire fence, there's a
Chain link?
6-inch, no,
Oh.
it's a farm fence,
Is there chain link up here at all? or no?
just on the road,
Oh.
and then around the park, you know, on the road frontage. The rest of it is all farm, you know, like a 4-inch wire fence, and then there's a small section, there's 100-foot or so of the 6-foot privacy fence existing.
And that's gonna come down?
That would get replaced by 8-foot, because that's in the backyard. So, and then there was talk, you know, we were thinking about if we remove the wire fence, it'd be, you know, would we put the, I'm thinking that maybe we put the wood fence in, you know, 4 or 5 feet, so that
Enough to mow.
they can mow on the other
Yeah.
side of it, so it doesn't end up,
The
you know,
jungle, bunny,
jungle.
whatever it is.
Keep it cut back, so.
Are we putting a privacy fence on the other side of the township for the other neighbors?
They haven't requested it.
No, I mean, they generally aren't gonna have the noise. It's primarily the pickleball court, honestly, and the pavilion. I mean, it's where people hang out. I don't think people walking their dogs around the trail or, I mean, Julie would know. Is there an issue there, Julie? So yes, I should say, so no, we haven't considered it for the size.
I'm just wondering, is it gonna open it up to,
I guess we'll find
they
out.
got it, now we want it, and
Right.
it's a big project, that's a big project. I'm not saying I wouldn't do something, but that's a lot of fence.
Yep.
Definitely like to see the quotes. Just
The quote?
more than to just the quote.
Well, if you could find somebody to quote it,
I think-
I'd appreciate it.
Probably, you know,
Yeah.
because of the different,
Wanting to remove
Types
the
of
old wire fence completely.
It's just
yeah,
a, it's a
removing the
weird
trees and all
combination.
the stuff.
Yeah.
They want all that trees removed, right? All the bushes, everything in between here. Isn't that what it said in the email?
Well, at the time, it was a matter of cutting back to the fence line.
I think that was part of the
I don't think-
slab for the concrete removal, was that on the
Yes,
same one?
that,
It's
yeah,
not-
3 or 4
Oh,
of the
you're
shrubs
talking
up
about
here,
that.
and
Yeah,
the tree, the birch, whatever it is, needs to
Yeah,
go.
there's only one tree over there. I mean, obviously.
Oh, so all that stuff's staying, all the greenery that's
The
along
greenery is there.
property.
The only thing we would do, if anything, would be cutting it so that it's not overhanging our property.
Oh, I thought they had to remove a bunch of stuff.
No, the fence is this side of that green stuff. The green stuff is hanging over the fence.
I see.
So other than that one cedar, that would be cut out. So, but yes, it's a big project.
All right, I will contact A&W and tell them we want it requoted for 8 foot. At what point, pretty much?
Probably the start of the backyard, I mean,
Okay,
back face of the house over there.
yep.
I mean, the 6 foot should cover noise, and that's the front yard area. The backyard, it's not just noise, the backyard is, you know, they don't like going in their backyard and have
People
come in and stare
staring
them.
at them from across here? Yes, that's understandable. Okay. All right.
Aaron, are you gonna get the temperature from the else to hold it?
Yeah,
I
you
can
can,
see.
you can know someone. Or individuals, I mean, it's kind of, like I said, if somebody wants to come and quote just the trimming and, you know,
Licenses.
somebody
Yes,
quotes the.
licensed and insured individuals, yeah.
Well, yes,
Right, I told all 3 people that I talked to that they could subcontract out as long as everybody had insurance. That obviously is kind of a multi,
right,
you know,
because TNT never responded.
which shocked me, yeah. I was a little surprised, they seemed very gung-ho.
I did.
Nothing, I mean, so,
All right. All right, well, obviously more to follow on that. That will move to old business next month.
Got it.
And on to trigger ordinance adoption. So basically, this is just looking for a motion to pass the trigger ordinance so that, again, as long as PA 233 is in effect, our ordinance would recognize the restrictions that are within PA 233.
I have questions about how and why the ordinance was amended from what went through the planning commission and the county. Because we didn't have any discussions about removing the provision for simultaneous submittal of applications. So I just was
Is that related
curious
to
how
the
that,
trigger ordinance?
it's in the trigger ordinance, that's why I'm confused, because it's,
Oh, he's got it, okay. I guess, basically, it goes back to that letter that I sent out to everyone in the board back in, I want to say March, which was my discussions with Homier and answering the questions. The purpose of the simultaneous requirement is to prevent somebody coming in and requesting a rezoning into, let's call it commercial district, which would open up that particular piece of property to anything within the commercial district. When you have to do it simultaneously, you know, they're telling you what they're doing with it. It's part of that request, so you know what you're getting, right? Homier has stated, and John Harris agrees, that in a conditional rezoning, that is serving the same purpose. Your goal is to control what's coming in. Conditional rezoning, the applicant is telling you what they're gonna do, and it wouldn't be for anything else. So, in essence, I mean, to me, that's the short explanation. I'm sure they could put a lot more words to it. But you are, with the conditional rezoning, it covers the intent of the ordinance.
I understand all that. My question is, how did it get into this trigger ordinance? It wasn't discussed at the planning commission, it wasn't discussed at any of our board meetings, but it's in here. I'm just trying to find out how that came about.
That was basically, I guess you would say, my discussion with Homier and my discussion with Mark. And the question of whether that is a significant change, that this can be made at the board level and approved, and they both said yes. So, because it was causing concern. I said, we have members that are looking at this as an issue. You've already explained that it's not. Why are we leaving it in here? So they took it out. He said, yes, you can change that. Pretty much that simple.
Just, the way it's just slipped in here, I don't feel real comfortable with, without any type of discussion. You know, this went through, this was brought up in January, I believe, and it's supposedly wasn't an issue either way, so why now do we have to take it out, and why is it slipped into this ordinance?
Because it keeps coming up as an issue.
Well, it's an issue for DTE.
No, it's not.
It's not, well, it's not, then why are we taking it out?
Because it's an issue for
I'm just
the
curious.
township, the residents and other individuals who have issues with the way it's worded. So let's clean it up. Right? It makes it look like there was a conflict, and there's not. Our attorneys have said that. So let's, it's not needed.
Actually, the attorney said that it was grounds for not approving any applications. That's what he said, right?
You'd have to get that for me. I never heard that from them.
It was in that letter from him.
Are you talking the questions and answers?
Yeah.
I have it right here.
I think it's like right up through the page. Towards the back.
Here, I'll let you find the question, because there's a couple questions in there
Right,
that
right.
construed as the.
I guess my biggest hangup is not even removing it, it's the way it's being done. I've been asking about it since January, told it's not a problem, and yet it just slips into the ordinance for us to approve without any discussion. I mean, they put that provision in there for a reason. I just think we should have had more of a conversation about taking it out.
You know, so that's what we can have.
I don't know if you guys had a conversation or somebody else.
I already told you did.
Yeah, you told me you didn't. I wasn't speaking directly to you. I'm just saying, I don't know if other people have already weighed in on this or were even aware that it was in there. Because I don't recall having any conversations about it.
Okay. So here's the whole thing. This is the question. Why was the clause that the rezoning and special land use application shall be submitted simultaneously used in the ordinance? Will this cause an issue if we move forward with DTE's conditional rezoning request? This is typical of this is Mike. This is
Right?
yeah, sorry. This is me putting a summary back to Mike of what I heard him say so that he could confirm.
Well, I think you just read
So-
what Mike said. If you're,
Well, I'm going to read it all. Thank you. So my comments to Mike after our discussion is, this is typical of ordinance that Mike is involved with. It is considered a benefit to the township because it encourages the use of conditional rezoning. In this situation, conditional zoning can be a benefit to the township because we can ask DTE if they would consider applying additional conditions to a request. If we were using the standard zoning change request process, we would not have the ability to suggest conditions, and the township would not be able to impose conditions beyond the zoning change requested. So Mike's response to me, that is, the answer to this question is a bit more nuanced. First, any rezoning of this type should be accompanied by the special land use permit because you likely would never rezone property just to have the special land use permit denied later. In that case, the rezoning would have occurred and the actual land use not permitted, so why rezone it? That is why generally the two applications are considered at the same time, so you don't have one without the other. In this case, however, because they are seeking a conditional rezoning, the developer must offer the conditions. In other words, the township cannot deny the application because of conditions that it wants, but were not offered, and the applicant would have to be denied on the merits of the application and the conditions that were offered. Notwithstanding, it is common to inquire about whether the developer would be willing to offer X, Y, or Z. In this case, one of the offer's suggestions could be to obtain the special use permit approval within a period of time. For example, if the condition was that DTE would apply for and obtain the special land use permit within 12 months, and that condition was not satisfied, then the property would revert to its former zoning. Okay. Then we go into talking about can we ask them about adding conditions. So where is it you're seeing that they said that?
Agreed, but would also add that if there is no SLU permit request, then it seems to me that the application itself is not complete.
Okay, you don't know where you got that from now?
Number 5.
Okay, how long is reasonable to drag out DTE applications? DTE has recently indicated that internal discussions are that if it can't have an application by summer, odds are they would move to stateside. Typically the month after, this is what I heard Mike say, typically the month after a public hearing would be appropriate for taking action on a request. It could be longer for good reasons, but for sure a determination should not be made at the same time as the public hearing. Then he responded, agreed, but would also add that if there is no SLU's permit request, then it seems to me that the application itself is not complete. Plus, not sure if the township is going to adopt this. That's what you're talking about, that sentence. Okay. He just had said that if there's a time limit on it, that would be an appropriate condition. So in other words, the application wouldn't be complete if there's no SLU, and if the SLU isn't in within 12 months, or in this case, I think it was 3 years, whatever they're saying, that it's null and void. So, I mean, that's a loop. That sentence doesn't mean in itself that they didn't meet the requirements of the ordinance. It's tied into everything. It doesn't stand alone on itself.
Why are we taking this out? That's my question.
Well, I explained it to you first.
But you're telling me it's not an issue, but we're removing it. With we had no discussion about this. It's been brought to the planner, it's been brought to the attorney with no discussion about it. And I just don't feel comfortable if that's the way things are gonna go around here.
Well, let's discuss it then.
I mean, at any point, since January,
Mark
this could have been
Mark looked at it.
discussed.
Mark would look at it as, this is just a clarification of language. Because in this situation where we're dealing with a overlay district, it's not applicable. I mean, it's only allowed in an overlay district.
Say that again. What is only district?
We're controlling this, we're controlling solar by the overlay district, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you can only do it in an overlay district, you never have an opportunity where you're opening up that area to all these different kinds of developments, which is the purpose of having this sentence in there, having the requirement of the permit and the request. at the same time. It can't happen.
I understand all that. I do. And like I said, it's not even the sticking point of making this change, it's how we're going about making the change. How this went through the planning commission, it was there for months, and then I went to the county, and it wasn't written this way. And then somehow this shows up just before we vote on it. And I don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
So, that's it.
I
Maybe
respect
that's how
that.
things are
It
typically
has
done,
no
I don't know.
material, it has no material change on how this thing is implemented. So Mark and the attorney look at it as, this is preventing confusion, it's not impacting implementation. So. And I can say, sure, if it were to, condition like this were to come up again, I can bring it to the board ahead of time. I don't have an issue with doing that.
Sure.
Well, I would appreciate it, I'm sure the public would appreciate it. I mean, they've never seen that, you know. They have the right to see everything that we're voting on. That's my opinion.
Oh. Okay. Thank you. So any other discussion on it?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the amendment ordinance to the compatible renewable energy ordinance, the Iosco Township zoning ordinance to modify section 1319 to address solar energy facilities subject to Public Act 233 of 2023.
I want to look a little bit more after all that.
Okay, that's fine.
So I don't make a yes or a no on something I'm not sure of yet, so.
All right, no second?
No second, it
Motion
doesn't.
dies.
It does.
And
And it does not. So just for clarification, because this was a sticking point before, Amanda, would you like to articulate what you had a professional come to your treasurer's meeting about minutes, and if there is no second, it does not go in the minutes?
It doesn't. A motion can be made, I can motion to paint the hall pink. If there's no second, it doesn't go into the minutes. Like it's like it never happened.
so I guess, yes,
Okay.
we'll add this to our August agenda.
And you move to accept the old one?
No, I don't have that draft.
Okay.
So we do not have a CREO.
Right. Moving on. Civic Plus Annual Fee for Supplementation Services.
I can. Civic Plus at was Unicode is the one who did the codification for the general ordinances. You had to pay her for any changes that were made to the general ordinances, not zoning ordinances, this is just the general ordinances. And they found that people were not sending them their updates because of the fees, and so they wanted to transition to an annual fee for supplementation services, which would be $1,000 a year, with the first year 50% off. We have not made any changes to the general code since the codification. I am not in favor of spending $1,000 a year when we've made no changes in the time frame, but, so the board had a say in the decision here for you to look at and have an opinion about.
So if 2 years from now, we do add a new general ordinance, are they just not gonna update it, or they're gonna charge us $1,000?
They might change it, yeah, they might charge us $1,000 then. But we'd have to pay $1,000 that year anyway.
Right, I'm just saying they will, they will change it, it's just gonna be.
I'm fairly certain it's not a one-time thing, but I
Right.
can definitely check on that. I can't imagine that'd be good business to be all,
To be like, no, sorry, you didn't
yeah,
sign
you
up
didn't
for the
sign from the
annual,
beginning.
so-
I can check on that, but.
Either way, if we just don't do much general ordinances, then you're right. There's no point in doing it.
I will verify that we can purchase the supplementation services at a later date if we find it necessary.
Okay, thank you. And then, I'm assuming this is you, Aaron, the request for official attorney opinion on DTE applications.
Yes, I asked Julie to add that to the agenda for next month, anticipating the rezoning request coming before us. I'd like Homer to write up his, a written opinion that we can go into closed session to discuss on what our options are and what this all looks like, whichever way we go.
Does that qualify as closed session?
Yes, to discuss a written legal opinion. It does.
I will follow up with them. I guess options, what are you thinking of as far as like options? That he's gonna write an opinion on, right?
On what happens, whichever way we go with this. What is the outcome? What legally are we required to do? What are our options?
Why closed session?
Exactly.
Do you discuss things with your attorney in front of the person, the people that you're
We've,
discussing
I mean,
about?
you've
I
discussed
think, I
all
feel
of
like
those
that's
in
what
public.
all of that
Right.
about, is that they want transparency, so why would we not discuss it in front of them?
I mean,
Okay,
We're not suing DTE,
Okay.
we're not going,
you could,
makes
you
perfect
almost
sense.
do it right here. It's kind of like, it's like revisiting coffee chat, right? What are our
No,
options?
we're talking to the attorney about what each thing looks like and what, well, I don't know. I just don't even know how to explain this to you.
I don't understand what you're asking. Because to me, I look at it as, you work with them, you don't work with them.
And what happens if you do or you don't work with them? And what are the legal
We
avenues?
have no idea. If we don't work with them, they could go to the MPSC, maybe they walk away.
So now you're an attorney.
No, I'm not an attorney, I just
I'm just
can think about what's
confused.
happening. The attorney isn't gonna be able to say what's happening. Mike has already told us, like, for example, he has no idea.
You're the only one that talks to Mike. You're the only one. So I don't know what Mike tells you or what you're telling Mike. None of the rest of the board does. And we have seen in this letter that you interpret things that he says differently even than he says. His answers were different than your interpretation. My interpretation would be different.
I guess I need you to go through.
And we are at a crux here where we have to make a big decision for this whole community. And I think that we should have representation, like everyone else out there.
We will have representation. I expect them to be here at the next meeting. I would like you to go through and highlight where you think I am significantly separate from Mike's, because I don't see
Okay.
that.
I can do
So
that.
do that for me,
I
please.
will, okay.
Because I disagree with you completely on what my
So
interpretation
you don't think
is.
that we don't need an attorney's opinion on how this, what our options are?
No, you said it right the first time. We could use the attorney's opinion on not what our options are. We know what our options are,
Okay.
right? Do you not know what our options
I
are?
do,
Okay,
I do.
so you want an attorney's opinion to tell you which option we should pick?
No, that's not what they do.
I know. So that's the only thing I can feel that would come out of that. They can tell us which is legal,
Mhm.
you said,
Right,
and all of them would be legal, right? They can't tell you how they're gonna work, because this is all an unknown. We're still
Right.
working in an unknown
that's
environment.
exactly right. All the more reason to have an attorney.
I don't think he's
Discussing
disagreeing that an attorney should be
I
present.
think the attorneys are gonna be present. I think you're expecting them to give you answers they're not gonna be able to give you. They will be here, though. I will tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you feel fine with talking in front of DTE and their attorneys, that's fine. That's, I guess that's the way
I
we will
will
do it.
ask
We will
them.
do
I
it.
will leave that to their professional opinion,
Okay,
whether, if it's appropriate and legal, do a closed session in which they would recommend.
Okay.
I don't,
they,
it's not a call I need to make.
are we paying 2 attorneys?
I would
For the
expect
same
we
thing?
have Homier and John. Correct.
But it comes out of escrow, Aaron, so the rolling of the
I
eyes.
mean,
There's-
John
Did I
technically,
wrote-
DTE's paying
John
for it.
technically is our attorney.
I understand that, but John sat here and said that this is not his line of expertise.
Correct. He
So
does
I
what
don't
we want.
understand why we would pay 2 attorneys for the same thing.
Because if we get in a legal battle, it will probably be John who is defending us with
But he's
support.
not, this is not his area. I,
And we're not supposed to.
Yeah, to call to the public.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay, so I guess what it amounts to is
We will keep
The
taking our
request-
advice from DTE.
with a request
That's
from, I think that's on the call for.
Sorry, that's what it feels like.
Well, it isn't.
Okay.
You heard Mike Homier sit there at the last meeting or the PC meeting and say, everything Emily said is correct. Did you not?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, he sure did. Roll the
I
tape.
didn't hear that.
I heard it. So go back and listen to that meeting.
Okay.
So we're not taking advice from Emily, right? But Emily's not stupid. She still
No
knows her
one said she
business.
was. I think just the opposite. That's my concern.
So, well, Mike doesn't agree with that. So did she fool Mike too?
Mike was agreeing with her on different legal things.
Yeah, they're attorneys. Anyway, okay, I think we're not making progress on
Right,
this.
right.
Right, so the attorneys will be at the next meeting.
The attorneys will be at the next meeting, yes.
Okay.
And with that, I guess we'll move on to board member comments. Aaron?
Let me see if I have anything else to touch on tonight. I don't think that covered it.
Yeah. Julie?
I have nothing.
Me? No. Treasurer, why did I skip you again? Because I do it
Doesn't matter,
every
it's
week.
fine.
Every month.
I just have one small thing. Fire chief and I were discussing a 6-inch well. It's something that in Conway, they're talking about having, if Ranger goes in, that's one of the community things they could do, is put in this 6-inch well and look into if it would drop everybody's ISO for their insurance. I thought, well, we don't, if solar goes through and we can get them to put one in, great. If they don't, we could put one in if it would benefit the whole township by dropping the ISO numbers for people's home insurance. So, like put it, we could put it, no, we could put it, well, we would have to talk to the fire department and say, where would this be most useful? this Township Hall here was, was said, because it would be easy for them to fill up. Pull in a truck here and fill up instead of having to take a tanker all the way back to Station 42. Can you fill up at 42, or is
We
it just
can, no, not at 42.
No, not at
This is hydrants
42.
at Fowlerville Farms, right in front of Fowlerville Farms, on the
Yeah.
north side of Fowlerville Farms.
So, even with mutual aid and other tankers coming, sometimes these fires take an awful lot of water. So if we could fill up, if they could fill up here, we might save a little bit more of the building. And if it does help everybody's ISO number, it is helping everybody. I have no idea what a 6-inch well costs to drill, but I just wanted you guys to noodle it and see if that's something we might want to think
That
about.
would be more beneficial, or, I guess, allow an ISO reduction compared to having a, what do they call them, standpipes or the pipes?
Dry hydrants.
Dry hydrants.
Yeah, I think that it's one of the parameters that she was gonna, I don't know what came with your and Chief's discussion. Chief knows ISO stuff more than I do, but if your home is within so many feet or such a mile distance of a hydrant, I believe it will reduce your ISO rating. But I wasn't sure on the exact parameters of that, so I think her
Well, I'll
and
look
Chief are
into
gonna
it.
have that discussion.
I just wanted you guys to start chewing on it.
I think regardless, I mean, even if it didn't,
Did
it'd
it?
be, if it didn't reduce ISO, I think it's an amazing, if we had the money. I mean, we've had so many fires here in Iosco Township lately that we haven't run out of water thankfully, but it would, if it were in, or if, it's an amazing thing to have for the community for fire suppression. I think it would be. But I don't know what the cost is, and I don't know, so that's obviously a huge factor. But it would be,
Where there's a 6-inch well or something.
True. And it's a deep one too. I don't know what it would take to make sure that's still full.
Throw it out there.
Throw it out there, right? All right, that was all I had. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have no comments. Second call to the public. Anybody like to comment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I think that Aaron should be able to be in that meeting with the lawyers, not just you. Then there's not going to be any conflict. If anybody else wants to be in it, fine. It don't seem like anybody else cares. So I think you should let her be with you and talk to the lawyers.
If we do this, we'd all be present.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I was just wondering, more of a question for Julie, but I'll direct it towards you, Joe. Could you handle a fire of solar capacity?
absolutely.
You can, so we just talked about that you might have run, just a second ago, I thought you mentioned.
It's not how you fight a fire in the solar.
So
We actually
so
have
that
had training.
You can do it, you could take.
Absolutely. You don't put out a solar fire. It's gonna burn. You cut the electricity and then it burns.
Perfect. So you guys have already studied all this?
And yes,
And
absolutely.
we're all safe?
As safe as you can be with any fire.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Anybody else?
Should you consider an emergency meeting on that CREO?
Why?
An emergency meeting, to address the drafts? I don't know if there's a timely issue related to that.
I sent this out for weeks ago. At least a week or more ago. What's gonna change between now and the emergency meeting? I guess it was already, I guess that I don't understand what would happen between when I sent that out and people had the time to read it and note it, could have contacted the lawyer or anyone else regarding it since they've had that, and this emergency meeting. What are you expecting to happen in between that's different than what happened between when it was sent out and today?
No, I'm just saying, because there were the two drafts. There's the one that went to Livingston County, and then there was the one that was going to be voted on today. So should there be an emergency meeting to address these two drafts?
It's not a final draft that goes to the county.
Okay,
It's this is the only final draft that we have.
is that, okay. But the wordage, the verbiage is different between the two.
Yes, but it's a draft that goes to the county. It's not, there's language that has to be changed between when it goes to the county and when we adopt it.
Okay, so that was,
That's the Mark Idelson land planner, that's what happens. They get, I'm not 100% sure on what changes, but I'm 100% sure that this isn't draft form that we are adopting. What goes to county is draft form.
Right, if you didn't change, if it went to county and you never changed it, you could never take into account what county said.
Right,
So a draft goes to county weighs in,
yep.
and
Which
then
they
county
did.
weighs in, and then you either keep it the same or change it to account for what county said. So
it
you're
does
never,
make
the
changes.
board rarely would have the exact, county always has something to say. So you would rarely have the same one that went to county going to the board. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of sending it to county? Just to hear their opinions and not change anything?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, you
Yeah.
certainly could,
that was, yeah.
but that's not what happened here.
That's for sure.
Okay, I'm just wondering if it's worthwhile, if there's a timely issue that requires, the CREO meeting, and if it should be, considered an emergency meeting, soon, then next
I'll
month.
let others weigh in. I'll wait until August at this point.
Right, Julie's right, it went out a week, however long ago, everybody read it, and clearly it died, for lack of a second.
Was it,
So-
was it posted for the public?
The public isn't voting on it, the public doesn't get a second. What is this is the board, the board, nobody seconded it. So I guess Julie's point is, if nobody seconds it tonight, then now they've got till August to think about if they're gonna second it or not. Is the emergency, you're just changing the date? You think everybody's gonna make a different decision between now and a week from now, 2 weeks from now? I guess I don't get there was no second, so now there's a month to somebody to think about if they want to second it. Everybody's made it quite clear they don't want me voting on any of this stuff, so.
Just a question, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Are you just gonna, the county, basically, they said that they didn't think it was a good idea for the second, the west side to be approved for solar. And I haven't heard anybody say anything about that here. I mean, isn't that something important?
That was last night's meeting, that is not what we're talking about tonight. That
No,
doesn't
that's
come
what
to-
I'm talking about.
I know, but that doesn't come to the board till next month.
They asked me for public comment, right?
It didn't seem like you understood what we were,
She's just saying they're not gonna.
it's not what we're talking about tonight. But it
Oh,
will
we're
come
not
to us.
talking about that tonight?
It's coming.
I was just wondering what you guys thought about
We're gonna
that's all.
discuss it, yes, but at next month's meeting, when we have the report from the county.
Oh,
We don't
yeah,
have
okay.
the report
I'm
from the
sorry.
county yet.
I
Is that when
I
you
didn't
vote?
hear anything, I was just curious.
Is that when you vote?
Likely, I mean, we don't have to, but next month is when we will have the report from the county of last night's meeting and the outcome of last night's meeting. We
Okay,
do not
sorry.
have the outcome of last night's
I
meeting
just wondered why it
yet,
wasn't brought up, that's all.
because we don't have the outcome of last night's meeting yet.
Okay, so I just, my question is, and I apologize if I'm not following along properly, but I'm just curious, going back to the ordinance. The planning commission sent it to the county made suggestions, sent it back, and then a change was made. Am I following that correctly?
The county made some recommendations for changes, and some of the, yes, and I believe that we made the changes the county recommended.
At least some.
I think on the trigger ordinance we did.
Yeah.
We made the changes. It was clarification changes that the county recommended. I read through it when we got it back, and that was June 18th, I think, or sometime in June.
Well, I'm really having trouble figuring out, like, if the change that was made that's like caused the issue that didn't allow it to pass was a recommendation from the county, or if it was something that was done independently. I'm just trying to like follow along.
That was independent, correct. That was me talking to the attorneys on language that is confusing, and I should say the attorney and our planner, and they basically said, yes, it makes sense to change that if it's causing confusion, because it's not applicable to a situation like we have with a overlay district.
And when was that conversation?
I have to check my records.
Do you think it was before or after it went to the county?
Probably pretty close in timing. Probably
Last
after.
night was the meeting.
Probably after.
That was the different, this is the trigger ordinance, that's the applications.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
Did you say probably after?
Yeah, probably after.
So why would that conversation not have been had before it went to county for review? So everything was it like an afterthought? Or like why wouldn't the completed packet have went to them for review so they could make their suggestions and then you were just?
I suppose you could call it an afterthought. I mean, it was just one more thing on a docket that came to mind, and reading it, I asked the attorney about it, and he explained that it's not relevant for this kind of a situation. So we changed the verbiage.
Well, I would ask, just as a member of the public, that like it was thoroughly and completely evaluated before it went to county. So when somebody's making a decision or, offering their input on an ordinance or whatever we're calling it, then like they're getting the full scope of what we're thinking so they can weigh in and say relevancy or not. But to change it afterwards, I mean, it does come across as a little bit shady. And I'm sure that's not your intention, but it just leaves room for.
People have a month to think about it.
It's still
Right.
a rough draft though, it's not like
Right.
a set and final. It's still rough, they still have a final say. It's just like building a deck, you go in and get your permit, and then, if we're a house, you have to follow the steps. They don't say, yup, this is a go. I built a deck, and there were so many steps that I had to take to get that deck finished. I got tagged, hurricane straps, who knew? Like, you have to have hurricane straps. I had to go through the county many times to get my deck finished. It wasn't like, yup, this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do. It was step after step after step through the county before I could actually complete my deck.
No, I'm not gonna argue with Erin from her standpoint of not having brought it to the board, right, first. So that's not a problem. So now it's at the board. The board will have time to think about it for a month. In another time, if this happens again, I would not make it. It was a decision that the change going through was minor. Basically, it doesn't change the impact. It's like a clerical change. It didn't change the intent, it didn't change the application, it didn't change anything with the implementation of the ordinance. So that's why it was put through, right? If it was something where it was going to change how this ordinance was going to be applied, obviously I would not have asked the attorney or Mark to make that change. And I can guarantee you that Mark would not have made that change. He would have flat out told me, can't do that, Joe. So, but to calm whatever the whole situation, what I come up with things like that in the future, even if it's a typo or whatever, I will bring it to the board and make sure that everyone's aware of it. So, that's the best I can say. Yes?
Just a real quick question. So on the applications, not the ordinances, but the applications, obviously there was a discussion at the county PC last night. I'm just curious to fully understand the procedure of that. So next month it will be an agenda item for the board, and then you guys have the ability to either approve as is, make changes, send back to the planning commission, kind of what is the order of events for?
We have no requirement on us to send it back to the planning commission at this point. The planning commission has made their recommendations, it went to the county makes their recommendations, sends it back to us. The board deliberates on that, and we accept or deny what the county tells us. Make our own changes at the time if we feel it's appropriate, and then vote on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
This is for Amanda. Not everybody thinks that you should abstain. I'll put it short and sweet.
Thank you, Sheila.
There are people who think you should vote.
I'm one of them too. You should vote.
Anybody else? All right, with that, we'll close the second call to the public, and motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Moved and seconded.
I would like to request everybody, shoo, talk outside, because I gotta shut the hall up because it's rented this weekend. I don't want to hang out any later
All
than
in
I have
favor?
to. All in favor, aye. Sorry. Aye. Get out. Get out. We have to adjourn first. No, get out. We're free to go. Aye. I agree. I concur.